Unfortunately, Weezer's not coming with us on this one.
Okay, Mr. Weezer, goodbye. We'll see you in 9 days, okay? Good morning. Today we're taking the Metrolink into Union Station. From there, we're taking a flyaway bus that takes us to LA International Airport, and we're going to be flying to Michigan for a quick little 3-day vacation. So come along with us. We'll take the train and we'll take an airplane and we'll see Michigan. So stay with us and let's have an adventure.
My oldest son and his wife recently bought a house in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I wanted to go see him. However, because of a terrible flight my brother and I took from Vegas, I have not been able to fly without the aid of an anti-anxiety pill. Even with them, I'm a nervous wreck for at least a few days before the flight. So I made myself a deal. I would force myself to fly out there with my youngest son, and we would take the beautiful California Zephyr train home. To make it a memorable trip, we'd fly first class. We'd visit Ann Arbor for a few days, then we'd take the Wolverine train to Chicago and stay there overnight to take the architectural boat trip up the Chicago River. The next day, we'd catch the California Zephyr across the country to Emeryville, stay the night in Emeryville, then we'd take the world-famous Coast Starlight from Emeryville along the California coast home. We also wanted to take public transportation to the airport just so we wouldn't have the hassle of driving there, parking the car, and storing it for 10 days. To avoid feeling rushed and just in case public transportation didn't get us to the airport on time for our flight, we decided we'd stay at a hotel right near the airport, then take their shuttle bus before sunrise to catch our early morning flight. Once dropped off at the airport, we had to walk to the other side where the terminals were. Then we had to wait for the Embassy Suites shuttle bus to pick us up to actually take us to the hotel. I had Hilton points to use up, so we stayed at Embassy Suites South. We hit the happy hour, had a few drinks, had dinner, then took dessert up to the room and watched a little Titanic, then went to bed. I didn't get much sleep that night, and when morning came, I was visibly shaking. We arrived with plenty of time to spare, got through security, boarded the plane, and I ordered my first of many drinks before my butt hit the chair. Very soon we were served breakfast. I got an absolutely delicious frittata, and Steve got a smoked salmon plate. The food was very good. However, the flight was very bumpy, and I kept my eyes closed through most of it. The flight was over and now I could relax. This is the autonomous train at Detroit Airport. The main terminal is about a half a mile long, so it saved us some walking. My oldest son met us at Detroit Airport and drove us into Ann Arbor. On the drive there, I noticed how different the interstate was here than from back home. It was all forested areas with virgin open land with grass everywhere. At home, every open area is contained within planters, watered with sprinklers, and all the plants are neatly trimmed and maintained. Here, they don't need to control the environment. They live within it and have very little impact upon it. The most interesting difference that I noticed right away was that the houses here don't have fences around them like we do at home. The side streets were all gravel, not because of neglect, but because freezing, salting, and thawing breaks up asphalt almost immediately, so it's more efficient and easier to maintain the streets this way. The plan was for Steve to stay with Scott and Ash at their house, and I would stay at a nearby Holiday Inn Express, which is about a mile from their house. We would be here for 2 nights and 3 days. Again, I splurged on the room, making sure I got a suite with a jacuzzi tub for the full spa treatment at night. The room was nice and very clean. It had a separate bedroom, sitting room, full kitchen, a modern bathroom, and of course, the jacuzzi tub. After settling in, we all went back to Scott's and just hung out. I saw a hammock in the back and decided to try it. I promptly fell out of it and landed hard on my side. I didn't know it at the time, but that fall would curse the rest of the vacation. We hung out and watched the rabbits, birds, and chipmunks, and my favorite spot became their back porch. Tomorrow we would sightsee. Tonight it was spa night. In the room, I hastily turned on the spa and found that it didn't make hot water. So I grabbed a clean waste bucket and made about 50 trips from the kitchen sink, and after an hour it was filled. I switched on the jets and suddenly the jets were shooting water against the walls and into the hallway. Panicked, I ran back into the bathroom and tried to adjust them, but turning the knob only shot the water further into the room. My spa dream shattered, I retreated to the safe bed and drifted off.
The next day.
The next morning, I woke up very early and took advantage of the free breakfast downstairs. The food was better than average as hotel foods go, but the coffee was some of the best I've ever had. Today we are going to go sightseeing around downtown Ann Arbor and the university. While driving around Ann Arbor, be sure to look for the tiny urban ferry doors hidden in plain sight around the town, usually near bookstores and libraries. There's a huge arcade with all the latest stuff and all the old classics too. Of course, we had to try Detroit-style pizza, and we found a great bar serving the classic Detroit slice. It was truly delicious, but the bartender, who lectured me about Islamic repression, then only charged us a fraction of the actual price as some sort of protest. We all began laughing loudly, left him a 20, and went on our way. The campus is a peaceful, shady retreat with quiet parks and architectural treasures wherever you look. Of course, Michigan is the home of the Big House, the largest stadium in the United States with a capacity of over 107,000. It's huge! Cheap seats start at $44, but the VIP seats can be well over $10,000 a game. downtown area is kept very clean. Even the public restrooms looked okay. Ann Arbor has a lot of pot shops, but they also sell psilocybin, or magic mushrooms, legally. That night, we went to an authentic German restaurant, then back to my favorite patio, and my daughter-in-law made some of the best tiramisu I have ever had. I was pooped, and I went to the hotel and to bed. The next day we had reservations for tubing down the Huron River, a famous local attraction. However, the reservations were made for the wrong weekend, which was okay because my ribs were starting to bother me at that point. So we spent the day just hanging out and visiting with each other. We found a great Mexican restaurant that night, and we hit the sack early. We had tickets on the Wolverine for tomorrow morning's early train. My oldest son dropped us off at the station. It was great seeing him and his wife. I'm missing them already, and I want to make this an annual visit. The Wolverine is a 304-mile route between Detroit and Chicago. The train can reach speeds of 110 miles an hour in some areas. We noticed a lot of Mennonites on the train, as there are many Amish communities along the route. The ride takes about 4 hours and the train is very comfortable. We arrived in Chicago and explored Chicago's magnificent Union Station, which took 10 years to build between 1915 and 1925, replacing an older station on the site. Many movies were filmed here, but The Untouchables' tumbling baby carriage, filmed on these stairs, was the most memorable. Our hotel was about a quarter of a mile from the station. We walked it, but by then my hammock-damaged ribs were really slowing me down. But we got checked in, got freshened up, then made our way to the river to catch our tour boat. We're hustling right now. We signed up to take the architectural riverboat tour here in Chicago. We had perfect weather, and our tour guide was interesting, but cracked some good jokes. And some corny ones, too. Shapes, gleaming glass towers, and the clever engineering required was inspiring. However, perhaps the most interesting story about the river and these little boats you will not hear on the tour. As we approach the Kinsey Street Bridge, a reverent silence falls over the boat, for this is where it happened. It was a hot summer afternoon in August 2004. The Dave Matthews tour bus, which was unoccupied except for the driver, approached the Chicago River. The 800-pound Blackwater tank was full and needed to be emptied, but Stefan Wohl, the driver, was in a hurry to get to his hotel. Turning onto the bridge, he noticed the metal grating, which allows snow to melt and wash into the river below, and he was suddenly struck with a great idea. Wohl positioned the bus over the grating and pressed the lever, opening the drain valve, and the tank emptied in a few seconds. Unfortunately, Wohl was unaware that this river had boat traffic, lots of it. Chicago's Little Lady, an open-top tour boat, happened to be passing underneath at that very moment. In a matter of seconds, 800 pounds of vile, foul-smelling brown oatmeal soaked 2/3 of the unsuspecting guests, drenching them from head to toe. Screaming passengers began vomiting right away, then slipping in the disgusting, putrid slurry. It was utter chaos. Wohl slipped away quietly, but the unique tour bus was seen fleeing by hundreds of witnesses. The boat rushed back to the dock where the passengers were issued refunds, and a number of them went to the hospital for evaluation. Wohl was fired immediately. The Dave Matthews Band reached a settlement, paying $200,000 to the state and another $100,000 to Friends of the Chicago River. The incident is referred to as PoopGate, and the Dave Matthews Band has sold out every show in Chicago ever since. The whole thing makes me hungry. Of course, when in Chicago, you eat deep dish pizza. The highest rated pizzeria in town was Pizzeria Uno. Unfortunately, it was packed until closing, so we chose Pizzeria Due, just down the street. I mean, how bad could it be? As it turned out, pretty damn bad. The crust was so hard, the hefty cleaver they provided might as well have been a plastic spoon. When in doubt, avoid 3-star ratings. Oh well. Legalized gambling has just been passed in Chicago, so we decided to try our luck. Steve found a caveman Keno machine while I lost $100 quickly. Right at that time, all of the ATMs went down, and when I visited the cashier, I was told they had run out of money. Seriously, they had run out of money. Trying to keep up with Steve, I hobbled back to the room, my wallet lighter, my ribs throbbing. But being in Chicago again makes me remember how much I love it. Big day tomorrow. The next day, we got an Uber from the hotel. We found ourselves engulfed in a sea of bicycles. The driver told us since this was Saturday, a lot of the downtown streets are closed and bicycles have the right of way. It was sheer madness. We made it back to Union Station and we found our way to the first class lounge where we hung out for about an hour. Soon, some bellmen collected us and marched us all down to the underground platforms. I was so excited, it was the third grade field trip to the Helms Bakery all over again. Well, that's about it. Adios, Chicago.
Downstairs?
11 and 14 is downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Are you kidding? We're downstairs? Shit, I thought we had upstairs rooms.
11, yeah.
Stephen and I got separate roomettes on either side of the train so we wouldn't miss any sights. However, when I booked the tickets online, I requested upper berths, but upon arrival we saw that we were assigned lower level, which turned out to be fine. Here's a pro tip. If you want upper level, make the extra effort and call Amtrak and speak to a human being directly. When you're traveling, you automatically adopt a selfish attitude. Having to make the sacrifice of leaving your home, you expect everything to go as planned, on schedule, and according to your wishes. When traveling on Amtrak, throw that philosophy out the window. You're on Amtrak time now. This is not a complaint, this is just an observation. For the next 51 hours and 20 minutes, you will live in cramped quarters, use tiny bathrooms, have very spotty cell service, if you have any at all. You will learn to eat not when you're hungry, but when the staff finds a place for you, and if you don't like eating with strangers, you're out of luck.
Okay, let's do a roomette tour real quick. This is my roomette. I'm on the first floor. Anyway, when you first come into the room, you got your 2 chairs either side, which this will make a bed. And it's a pretty comfortable bed once they put the pad on. And one side, you got a little room for your suitcase. There is a 1 power plug. And you get a light there, main lights there. There's your air conditioning controls. There's your porter. And that's about it.
For the next 2.5 days, Janelle, the porter, will be your news source, maid, waitress, nurse, bed maker, tour guide, and barista in the mornings. If you try to make your own bed or wander the car shoeless, Janelle can meter out some vicious verbal tongue lashings too. Soon after getting settled in, the train departed right on time at 2 p.m.
2 o'clock. And here we go.
The first meal service was dinner. When people weren't seated right away and grumbling started, our dining room manager, Stacy, loudly announced for all of us to get with the process. In other words, you're in our house now. For our first meal, Steve and I both had Amtrak's signature entree, the flat iron steak, with a delicious red wine sauce, and for dessert, we both got the rich, indulgent blueberry cheesecake. Both were excellent. Our dinner companions, Mike and Mary, were charming, and we had a wonderful, long political conversation.
Bridge, leaving the state of Illinois, entering the state of Iowa, just on the other side of this bridge. Next station stop. First stop of the
Back in our rooms, I watched Illinois, Iowa, and Nebraska pass by the window for a little while, and then I drifted off to sleep. The next morning, when Janelle came by to check on me, my ribs were hurting so badly I was having trouble opening the cabin door.
Good morning. It's morning 2, and what I thought was a bruised rib is probably a fractured rib, and I can barely breathe. So, Janelle, our porter, brought me breakfast in bed this morning, and it looks really, really good. And I took some medication, so I'm a little bit out of it, but yeah, it looks really good. Check it out. Omelet, breakfast potatoes, sausage, and a croissant roll. Looking good. Oh, looking good. Wish I could say the same thing about myself, but medication is kicking in. I think I'll be okay in a little bit.
I had eggs and bacon, and Stephen had an omelet. With just enough time to get cleaned up, we arrived in Denver. We jumped off the train to take some pictures of the beautiful station, then hustled back onto the train. After an hour or two, with some of the best scenery coming up, we made our way up to the observation car. These panoramic windows make this valuable real estate, and since this car is open to everybody on the train, vacant seats are hard to come by. Some trains restrict you to a maximum of 2 hours so that everyone gets a turn. But on our train, there were no restrictions, and some people squatted in these chairs for the entire trip. We went through the 6-mile-long Moffat Tunnel, and soon it was lunchtime. Steve got the cheeseburger, and unfortunately I chose the patty melt. For dessert, they offered a brownie or a butter cake. Both of us got the butter cake, and from that moment on, we were hooked. Now, it sounds like I'm making a big deal about food, and I am. Although you're treated to some of the most beautiful scenery in the world, the meals become very important. You time your day around them, and the people that you meet and the conversations that you have become the highlight of your day.
Traffic jam, big time.
Now we're passing Interstate 70 Highway, a 12-year project where the brilliant design of Gruen and Associates caused what could have been an unsightly scar in this beautiful canyon to instead become a beautiful addition to it. Now we're passing Glenwood Canyon, where my son and I once rode the death swing high on the canyon wall above us. Our next stop, Glenwood Springs. Crossing into Utah, we learned firsthand about an unusual tradition from people on the river.
Such a stupid tradition.
It's called the Amtrak moon, and it has nothing to do with celestial bodies and everything to do with the different part of the body.
Oh yeah, I guess this is probably the spot.
I love that Amtrak embraces the event. Time for dinner. Do you think they're serving rump roast? Tonight, Stephen tried the salmon and I tried the roast chicken. Both were delicious. Tonight we were paired with Thorne and Kay, a really fun couple who we hung out with until Reno. Thorne made it known early that he was a proponent of cannabis, which I could smell right away. We met up with them at every smoke stop to stretch our legs from then on. We continued through Utah and into the night. The 2 rum and colas would help me sleep well, and soon I was out like a light. I woke up and stumbled into the bathroom at midnight in Salt Lake City. I slept in, and just like that, we were at the Reno station. We stretched our legs, and very soon it was time for lunch, which would be our last meal on the California Zephyr. I had the roasted chicken, and we were seated with a very nice retired couple from the Midwest, Bill and Kathy. After a few minutes of chatting, we found out that their daughter is taking the exact same MLIS class at the same university as my son. They're practically classmates. What are the odds?
That's amazing.
We began to pack our stuff because in 3 short hours we would be arriving in Emeryville. We said goodbye to Janelle and walked from the station across the tracks to our hotel, the Hyatt Place, where I was able to use up the last of my points.
Well, we're finally in Emeryville, and the train ride is over. We've got one more train ride to go. So let's take a look at the hotel room here. Oh, this is nice. Oh, wow. Got a little kitchenette here. Coffee maker, something I've missed for a few days. Little refrigerator. Oh, yeah. Living room. Big giant TV set. Holy moly, I'm watching YouTube tonight, baby. Oh, in a separate bedroom. Really nice. Another big huge TV here. The largest table lamp I've ever seen in my life. Oh, beds, man, instead of those stupid beds on the train. Oh my God, big beds. And a nice bathroom. Oh, this is really nice. Wow. Bathtub and shower. I'll be using that tonight. And not so fortunately, we're right next to the train tracks. There's the Emeryville train station right there. So we just walked across that little pedestrian bridge, and here we are. Wow, really nice. One of the nicer hotel rooms I think I've ever had.
I took a long shower, a few aspirins, a nap, and later we just door-dashed a couple of burritos. I pilfered a butter cake from the train and gave it to Steve, for I was too tired to eat it. Then I went to bed. The last leg of our journey, the Coast Starlight, begins tomorrow morning at 7:45. Feeling refreshed and energized, we went down to the breakfast area and fixed ourselves a quick bite and got a caffeine hit. Then we headed over to the Emeryville station. The Coast Starlight left right on time. It was strange to see a view of the Bay Area from this perspective, because usually we see it from driving on the bridge. It was getting to be lunchtime. We both had the chicken Caesar salad, and it was surprisingly good. We sat with Pat and Melody, had a pleasant chat, and within an hour we'd solved all of California's problems.
We're in San Luis Obispo. Only another few stops before we get back into LA. And it's been really a lot of fun so far.
After a few hours, the train passes by Vandenberg Air Force Base, and by train is the only way to see some of the launch pads and prep buildings. There is no other way to get to this area. We got the call to dinner, and this would be the last chance for Steve and I to get the flat iron steak and the cheesecake, which we did. I was a little concerned when we were seated with a lady and her hearing-impaired son, Aaron and Rowan. To break the ice when I introduced myself, I added stupid hand signs, which caused Aaron and Rowan to laugh out loud, and the floodgates of conversation opened. Rowan wore 2 circular discs on his head just above the ears. He was born without cochleas, and the magnets caused him to process sound differently, so that he feels sound. Aaron was so interesting and eager to answer our questions. I think I'll remember those two for a long time to come. We pulled into Santa Barbara Station. I bumped into Aaron and Rowan again. From here down to Ventura, we would see the coast views that this train is famous for. Later, as I watched the beauty outside my window, I realized how relaxed and at peace I was. I guess I had finally gotten with the process. Soon, Aaron dropped by and brought me a flower. As the train neared LA's Union Station, our adventure drew to a close. And thank you so much for coming with us.
Well, we made it to Los Angeles. We made it to the Jesus. Well, we made